I'm SurrealBeliefs and welcome to Total War Rome 2, where today I'll be reviewing a modification known as Total War Spartacus Rises. Now this modification is based upon the Third Servile War, which is of course the one that Spartacus led. Now he was a Thracian who defied Rome in the Third Servile War. Now let's go ahead and look at our campaign that we have here. Also, if you would like to download this mod, you do need Hannibal at the Gates, which is a DLC for Rome 2, and there is a link to it down below for Steam, so check it out there. Now let's go to Spartacus Rises right there, and we can see that we have a few new factions. We have the Storian Rebels, which is based in Iberia, and that will provide a challenge for the Lusitani over here, and the Adevanci over here. Now, from that point on, the main focus of the mod, in my view, would be, of course, the Servile Rebellion, which is right here. I mean, that tiny rebellion must begin to fight against all of Rome, and Rome, at this point, in its mod, will have a lot of land. They will be a huge power. So here you'll play as Spartacus and his faction, and begin to fight all of Rome. Now, I'll begin a campaign so that we can take a look at what's going on. Put over here Legendary just for fun, and then you can see our own bonuses. We have Strategic Effort, we have the Great Enemy, and Popular Support. Now let's begin, and I'll show you more features. And there's the Great Spartacus, who right now leads a pretty big army. Now you begin in Capua, and they will be adding, I believe, new units and new features to the modification where they can over time, and they will rebalance the mod too to where Rome is a lot more aggressive. But here we have Spartacus, as you can see, which is very cool. Over here we have Crixus, and he's leading his own force. And if we look at Italia, there's a lot of land to take. I mean, really, that rebellion will take a lot of struggling and effort to really get to where they need to go. But that's the overall map that we're seeing right now. And as you can tell, they've changed up how it looks. It's not really the same. Even the UI is not completely the same. Now let's go over here to technology. Let's see, war preparations. We'll take that up like that. Now let's begin our first battle. Let's take Tarracina over here to the northwest. So we'll move up with my army. Let's see, we have servile recruits, we have shepherds, we have herdsmen, servile spearmen, servile veterans, and of course the general, freedom fighters. Okay, or at least the general's bodyguard. And Crixus could go after Beneventum, but that might be quite difficult. They have a big garrison, so I don't know if he could pull that off. If he could, I would be impressed. Now, it looks like it does not cost anything to recruit, but it does cost a lot to actually pay the upkeep for your men. So, for him, what do we need? We probably need some more soldiers that are powerful in melee, who can hold their own. So we'll do that. We'll probably end this turn. I could upgrade this, but really I can't afford too much more than that. You can also provide a variety of new buildings, which will add a fairly large garrison and unlock recruitment. So really, it's like a typical faction. It's just that you're having a rebellion. So let's end our turn right now and get straight to our next turn, where we can begin a battle and take a look at how that will flow and how it will fill. So thankfully, because there's very few factions, your turns will end quickly, so you'll have a fun time with that. Alright, Spartacus, let's go take Tarracina and put it to the sword. Now, there's not a lot to fight here. Of course, we're fighting only a garrison, but that's how it should be in the very beginning, before Rome's like, hey, we do have a huge threat here. So let's go and fight. And now we can see Spartacus and his men march onwards, and really, these are some beautiful units, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch in battle. Alright, so from that point on, we have our freedom fighters in that group. Over here we have our servile veterans, who again have picked up gear from a variety of other Roman units, which, as you can see here, it really does look like it. They've picked up gear. You have people of all different nationalities and such. Alright, so over here we can see some levies moving towards us. I'll have my, of course, herdsmen go after them in just a moment once they finally disembark completely. Let's have my, let's see, these are shepherds. Go after them too, and that should be sufficient. No skirmish mode. We don't really need that, not today. Alright, so they'll go off and fight, throw their javelins, and have a fun time with that. Alright, there we go. So we're fighting levies, and of course they'll lose promptly. I mean, they don't have as much training as my own shepherds, I'm sure. Now, let's go over here. We have our own horsemen. We'll take a look at all of our units, and again, there's been a lot of work added to all of them. I believe there's been maybe 20 or more units added to all of the variety of factions that you can play as. Look at that. Probably an Egyptian there. Huh. Well, let's move on. As they're marching on, we'll watch the slaughter in just a little while. Over here we have our servile swordsmen, or the spearmen. Nope, there's a swordsman and spearmen. Okay. There we are. We'll take a nice look. Now that is pretty cool. Alright. It always shocks me how beautiful of a game that Rome 2 is. After we check out this battle, we'll probably go over to Rome and check out all the other factions and see what new units they have too. There's always going to be more that I have yet to show you, but of course, that's all part of the surprise, right? But no, that's just because I'm sure some cannot be unlocked until later on. From what I can tell, it looks like we have people of varying sizes, which is very cool too. So you don't have everyone who's a bodybuilder here. Like here, he looks fairly bigger than this guy. Huh. That is very cool. Alright. So those are our gladiators, and they're about to march into battle in just a moment. Let's wait for them all to do their part. And if we look at it, those levies are now dead. Let's fast forward and quickly get into the battle where we can watch our buddies fight and destroy our dear friends here, the Romans. Oh yes, our dear friends. That's what they are. Dear. Okay. By dear, I mean dinner. Roman venison. Okay. Off we go. They're about to charge in. I could just have them charge in now, and I suppose I will. Have Spartacus go in and fight the Verari. Then I'll let the Servile veterans go over here and fight the levies. I'll let these veterans move in and reinforce Spartacus. We have more men on the way. They'll be here soon enough. I have these horsemen. I could have used them to take out these levies, but it's really not too important. Not right now, anyway. So now they're charging in, all together. And again, I love his cloaks that they have on. Not all of them have one, but a good bit do. Alright, so they're running on in. And Spartacus is very cool. I like the choice that they made for his design. You can notice him. There we go. Pretty sure that was stolen Roman Pila that they just threw, and oh, some good accuracy. Here comes Spartacus now. He's charging in. So we can see him, or I could see him. Yeah, he's right there. It's his friends fighting. Well, maybe not friends, but his allies fighting. So we'll check up on Spartacus in a moment. I'm busy looking at these battles, so let's go in again. We could take off formation attack, and I think I will. Let's see, he's been given war cry, so we'll use that. Alright, I have other units on the way, and these Servile veterans are fighting too. Let's get rid of our formation attack again. Over here we have all of my gladiators. We'll control G to lock them into formation and have them all charge in. That way they'll all attack our foes here. I'll have my Servile swordsmen move in a little while. Let's see, we have guys over here. Let's have them run in and fight. Now, how is Spartacus doing? He's killed, wow, he's killed nearly 200 already. So if we look at his stats, he's pretty powerful. His morale is immense. His melee defense is high. His melee attack is very high. And naturally, because of that, they will be able to slaughter all of these Roman soldiers. So I'm sure it's not until later, until you fight harder Roman soldiers, that you would be unchallenged in Rome. I mean, you can see how they're just cutting through everything. I mean, we're fighting a very weak garrison, as I said, but still, it's always fun to see them work their magic. Over here we have our gladiators moving in, and boom. That was really well practiced. I don't know what they do in their spare time, but I have a feeling they do that. They're like, hey, let's practice that. Let's kill everyone in unison. We'll make it beautiful. We'll make it poetic. Alright, these freedom fighters have killed over 300 now. And that is going to be a scary force to have. Sometimes it's just fun to have a really powerful unit fight. But Spartacus needs that just because he's going to be outnumbered. I mean, in pretty much every battle, you'll probably be outnumbered. It helps that you do not need to pay for your men, because I guess you just assume that you're getting volunteers. But we've won the battle now. So that's that. Not so bad. Alright, let's quit it. Let me get back up to the campaign map. So that's pretty much how I believe the beginning of your campaign would run. I'm playing on Legendary, and yet I was able to just, even though it was a weak garrison force, to have one unit kill so many, that's really a great power. Okay. Now we can sack, we can raise, we can loot, or we can occupy. It's interesting. Huh. Gain more money if you loot. I like that. Let us sack it for fun. There we go, he's rank 2 now. So look at his skills. I don't know if they added anything new for that. Let's see, he's a shield bearer, Clementia, and then over here we'll choose warrior to let his men really fight and conquer many others. Let's see, Fortitudo, bravery on the battlefield is worthy. Leader of free men. This man cannot be killed, only wounded. Okay, so he's not even able to be killed in this campaign, only wounded. That's very cool. Alright, well, time to check out Rome. Let's go over there and see what they're doing. a vast kingdom. However, the issue is that you have no full legions. If we look over here at our legions, we have not one that's filled up. So in the very beginning, you're exposed and you're weakened. Even though you have all this money and land, you're not a great power until you're able to build up. So that gives the other nations time to build up and attack you. So over here we have Legion 1. Down here we have 2 in New Carthage, 3 in Carthage, and then the only legion in Italia would be Legion 4, right over there. So if we look at that, who are we fighting? We currently have client states in the form of Numidia and Africa over here. Then we have, of course, the Adivaci in Iberia over here. Now we're fighting who? We're fighting the Lusitani over here, the Storian rebels right there. Then finally, who else do we have? He doesn't look very healthy, by the way. The Surreal rebellion right here. So that's who you're fighting in the very beginning. I mean, these are not huge powers, but again, you're exposed and you're weakened, so really you can't do too much. We'll take a look at their units later, but for now, let's go look at the Storian rebels in just a moment, right after we take a gander at our faction leaders here. Now, you might be able to recognize a few of these names. Alright. Gaius Cassius, huh? Longinus. We have Pelicola over here. Metellus. Glauber. If we keep on going down, look at that. Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus right there. We have Crassus, who's a very talented leader too. Let's keep on moving. Furius, Varinius. There's a lot of names here. Alright, well, let's go look at our rebellion over in Iberia. And here we have now Quintus Sertorius. He would be the one who would lead this faction. Now, this would be known as the Sertorian War, and he was asked by, I believe, Lusitanians to help them out against their struggle against the representatives, the party of Sulla. Now, Sulla left behind many proconsuls and generals in his land who were quite cruel to the local people, and that's why they wanted help from someone who was known to be kind to them, which was Quintus Sertorius. Now, over here we have a faction that is comprised of mostly Italian and Iberian units. So there's a very cool mixture here. Now, if we go look over at our main army, we have Cohort Lusitani, Gallici, Astores, Prefect Cavalry, Guerrillas, Calators, and then over here we have archers, swordsmen, and a cohort of Hispania. So if you want diversity, this faction here would be very good to play as. Now, we have our faction leader who would be defeated in 72 BC. Well, he would actually be killed by one of his own men, Marcus Pepernus Vento, and he would kill Sertorius in the war, but from that point on, he would be captured by Pompey. And basically, that's what you would have for this whole faction. And they begin in a fairly difficult location. I mean, if you look at it, yeah, they have friends over here to the west, but to the east, nothing but Rome. That is a lot of Rome to fight. And their more powerful legions would be in Rome at this time. Later on, well, they would move back to Italia, but for now, they're over here in Iberia. We should probably take a look at a few battles now. That's what I think. So here now we have a stare down before the battle actually begins. I have my servile rebels here, ready to strike, and I enjoy at times sitting here listening to the dialogue. It's rather fun. Alright. Well, they're looking pretty jumpy. We should probably begin fighting. Let's do it right now. Okay, freedom fighters, let's go for it. I'll have all of you charge in here, here, and here. You two will support them if needed. Those two groups, very good. Leader, move in like that. I'll have my gladiators move into the woods, like this, and then over here, I have more soldiers moving to their flanks. Very good. So now, pretty soon we'll have a pretty brutal battle. Here's the Romans. All of you charge in, throw your spears or your pila if you have those. But here it goes now. We're fighting armored legionaries. Oh boy. Now the clash begins. I wonder who will win that one. I mean, really, it's going to be a nasty one. Nice work. Alright, Bald Man, you did very well. I approve of your valor. But will he live even further? I guess we'll find out soon. But yes, I have everything turned up, so this is really a very nice looking game. Probably a little bit beyond me, but I'm trying my best to make it work. Let's hit them from behind and on their flanks. Over here, we're attacking who? Or is that just my gladiators? Yeah, it's just my gladiators. Okay, let's have them move in too. These guys. For my bodyguards, I'll have them move in. Ooh, General, what are you doing there? You should not be there alone, but he is. Okay. We'll hit these Romans from behind. Just for fun. Hey, it's fun to me. Alright, gladiators, I want you to be the ones to hit these Romans from behind. And as you can see, these Romans are sticking close together. That'll make for some very brutal and visceral battles. Everyone is drenched in blood already. That was quick. I wonder how they're faring. So far, it looks like we're doing okay. We're doing alright. We could do better, but we're doing alright. Let's charge in now. All over here. Are you in a formation attack? Is that what's going on? Oh, okay. Well, we don't want that. Let's charge in. There we go. Alright, my gladiators are now pushing in behind them. They're being hit from two sides, and they're still fighting, which is impressive. I did not expect that. So no matter what, you'll have a pretty good fight against Rome. Ah, now they're fleeing. Huh. Alright, well, there is our review of the modification, Total War, Spartacus Rises. And again, all of the links that you need are down below, so check it out. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see all of you later. If there's a mod that you want me to check out, then let me know too. And as always, until then.